Well, Dr. Danny Welch, thank you so much for meeting with me. I was so thrilled that Dr. Jensen suggested your research project spearheaded by you as a project for Alice and Ally support for our 2024 project. If it's all right, we would like to ask you just a few questions just to get to know you
Sure.
and to hear a little bit about your research project.
Glad to do it.
So can you just share a little bit of your background in research and pieces?
Sure. I am an Air Force brat. I grew up at Edwards Air Force Base in California. And from the time I was in kindergarten, I thought I wanted to be a physician. So in college, I went to a lab for no particularly good reason other than I wanted to get a letter of recommendation to apply to medical school. And that's where I started doing research. And I found that I enjoyed that more than dealing with complaining patients when I was volunteering in the medical center. And I'm a terrible patient, so I'm only telling about myself. And it was the kind of research where the lab I was in was doing important work, and it was the early days of metastasis research, so I was exposed to that, and I just found it fascinating and enjoyable. And I went to the chief of the lab that I was working in, and I asked him if he'd consider taking me as a grad student. And after asking the hardest interview question I've ever been asked, he said yes. And that hard interview question was, what would you expect from me as your mentor? And I had been working in this lab for almost 2.5 years at that point. Almost never met with him. I always met with his grad student that I was really reporting to. And I said, I looked at him, I said, I expect you to work as hard for me as I know I'm gonna have to work for you. And he said, that's fair. I'm moving to MD Anderson Cancer Center to start a basic science department. And if I take you, you'd have to move to Texas. So I moved to MD Anderson, where I became the first graduate student to study tumor biology there. And that's where I really solidified a research program.
Fantastic. And how long have you been here at KU Cancer Center?
It's approaching 14 years, 13 and a half years.
Wow,
Moved here in 2011. Dr. Jensen put on a charm offensive to recruit me here and to initially build a Department of Cancer Biology and help improve the way we presented the wonderful basic science that's taking place here. And now I help coordinate the educational activities in our cancer center.
Well, fantastic. Well, it's so nice to meet you. It sounds like you've had a wonderful longevity in the area of research, and especially in metastatic.
I don't like saying long anymore because it means I'm getting old.
Yeah.
But yes, it's now over 40 years, almost 46, if we take into account my time in college.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm going to look at it as expertise and experience.
I like that. I appreciate that.